Hello and welcome to another Royal Reviewer scheduled pop-up chat. So not quite a pop-up, I haven't just popped up, but at least I scheduled so that people know. How many is already here? 90 people waiting already, my goodness. Yes, so we have a few things to talk about today, which I'm going to get into in a moment. But first of all, hello and welcome back to the channel. I know people have been talking in the chat room already, so I have read a few little comments. So hello and welcome to everybody. I hope you've all had a fabulous day. I know I have. I'm still wearing my winter woolly today, my winter woolly cardigan, because it's been very cold here in the UK. Very, very cold. So I'm going to give the cold weather a black fan flap because it's not being very good for my roses. Okay, so there's a few things we're going to talk about today. And first of all, I want to say, because I know some people have commented in the comments that this week has been very, very, very Meghan and Harry heavy in terms of coverage. And it has been. And I think we are going to see that pretty much up until the birth of the baby Sussex. Perhaps I think we may get a little bit of downtime when they get downtime. But for now, there is lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of Harry and Meghan news to talk about in pop-ups. Now, I will, in my weekly live chat, endeavour this week to try and cover as many different royals as I possibly can, because I know that's what a lot of you commented on last time. So I am going to try. But yes, this week has been very Harry and Meghan heavy. I am aware of that. It's just because of all what's been going on. Although I'm sure most people don't mind. So I'm going to start with the top story of the day, I think. And that is that Harry and Meghan have said thank you to their fans and their supporters for what happened with the whole... I always forget the name of the hashtag. I'm terrible. Global Sussex baby shower. There you go. I always get the baby and the Sussex all mixed up. Global Sussex baby shower hashtag. So they said thank you. Now, when I did my video about this initially, I did say I think we will see some kind of a thank you from Harry and Meghan, and we have. And they made the post on their Instagram. So I'm going to head over to Instagram. I'm sure you've all seen it and read it anyway. But they posted some photographs. And the kind of lead photograph, if you like, is a lovely Harry and Meghan there. And I'm going to read what they said. So, they said, what an incredibly special surprise. The grassroots-led hashtag Global Sussex baby shower was last Sunday. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex are immensely grateful for the outpouring of love and support in anticipation of the birth of their first child. In lieu of sending gifts, the couple have long planned to encourage members of the public to make donations to select charities for children and parents in need. So there you go. This is something that Harry and Meghan actually were planning anyway, but it seems like the hashtag Global Baby Sussex shower, I keep getting that wrong, you know what I mean, got there first. So this is something that they were always going to try and do. So they continue, if you already made a donation, the couple send you their greatest thanks. If you are thinking about it, they ask that you kindly consider the following organisations they've selected, which we will highlight here over the next few days. So expect more posts from them, but the charities that they have chosen are the Lunchbox Fund, the Little Village HQ, Well Child and Baby to Baby. So Well Child was one of the charities in the initial hashtag, but those are the 4 charities of which Harry and Meghan have selected officially. But of course, you can donate to whatever charity you want, and of course of any other royals too, if that is what you want. It all goes to help the different charities. So yeah, it doesn't matter. Just donate if you want to. And Harry and Meghan are of course very, very, very grateful. Oh, I've got to just... I have seen all the photographs. So yes, they just included a few photographs of those different charities. So do go onto their Instagram and check it out. By the way, the Instagram account now, as I'm looking at it now, has 3.9 million followers. I think that deserves a fan flap, don't you? My goodness, 3.9 million. That is huge. That is immense. They're still only following 2023. They're not following me. Hashtag please follow me. And they've made obviously 5 posts to date, including lots of other different photographs too. So yes, happy. And they're very, very grateful for what happened. And I kind of knew that they would say something. I didn't expect them to just sit there and not recognise the efforts of their fans. And I think it's another key word they used in their Instagram post was grassroots, which means obviously from the bottom. And I think what they are really feeling and getting a sense of because of that is the support they are getting from their fans and their supporters at the grassroots level, which I'm sure must be a great comfort for them. And of course, they said thank you. Now, the next story I'm going to talk about is this alleged baby moon. Now, the alleged baby moon story, I think, began, and I've tried to do a little bit of digging, I think it began with the Sun newspaper in the UK. Now, they are not the most reliable of sources, I must say, but let's go with the story for a moment anyway. So, they are reporting that Harry and Meghan had a 3-day or 3-night mini baby moon, and it supposedly happened at the Long Room at Heckfield Place Hotel in a place called Hook in Hampshire. Now, this alleged baby moon, the room they stayed in, cost £10,000 a night. So over 3 nights, that's £33,000, which is quite a lot of money. But my question about this was when? Because Harry, as we know, has been out on engagements recently. So I'm thinking, when did it happen? When did they squeeze it in? The only time frame that I can see that they could have fitted it in was when Camilla and Charles were on tour in the Caribbean. Because if you remember back, the Cambridges and the Sussexes social media, in terms of the Kensington Palace as it was back then for the combined social medias, was very quiet. In fact, I don't think there was hardly any engagements posted for the latter part of the Caribbean tour. So if this did happen, and of course it is unconfirmed, and it will of course be unconfirmed because it is a private holiday, a private break. So I'm thinking it could possibly have happened during the Caribbean tour, if indeed it did happen at all. So I'm still a little bit doubtful about it, but it is possible. And I kind of hope that they did manage to get away for a few days, whether it was here, as reported, or elsewhere, to be quite honest. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of make you aware of that, because that story is going around. But like I say, it is unconfirmed. You know, where it originated from isn't perhaps the most reliable of sources. However, that still doesn't mean it didn't happen. Apparently in the article it does say that, you know, 3 protection officers were seen in the vicinity as well. So I don't really know whether that happened or not, but I just thought I would discuss it and, you know, just tell you to be aware that perhaps maybe it didn't happen. Now, over to the big story, and I have touched on this in a few other pop-ups, but I felt like it needed its own kind of space, its own video, because I am getting a lot of comments in the video comments about this. So, there is this story going around. Shall I give it a black fan flap now? I think I shall. There we go. And yes, it is a fake news story about the Queen not allowing Meghan to wear any of her jewellery, private or from the royal collection, and any jewellery that was previously worn by Diana. Really? Where do I start? Okay, so this is a completely fake, false story. Meghan has already worn jewellery owned by the Queen, and she's already worn jewellery that has previously been worn by Diana, Princess of Wales. Cast your mind back to the wedding day. She wore Diana's aquamarine cocktail ring. That was obviously from Diana's personal collection. Cast your mind back to the engagement ring. Harry used 2 of Diana's diamonds either side of the big central diamond, which he bought for Meghan. So those diamonds were from Diana's personal collection. We've seen Meghan wearing Diana's bracelet, that lovely bracelet. So we know that Meghan has probably, already got her share of the jewellery. But obviously she hasn't, worn all of them. She'll probably just trickle them out. We also need to remember when tragically Diana lost her life, there was a will. And I have read online the will. Now, I tried to find it now so I could read you what I read, but I couldn't find it. I read it years ago, and I remember one specific bit leaped out at me. It may now be gone from the internet, I don't know, but I remember reading this from Diana's will that was published online, or rather certain sections of it were published online, and it clearly said that all of her assets were to be divided between her two sons, William and Harry. Of course, it was in trust until they reached age. That I think there was a few gifts given to her godchildren and a few other people, but it did say that her jewellery were to be split equally between Harry and William and used for their future wives. Now, we now know, obviously, the future wives are Catherine and Meghan. So it's actually written into Diana's will, which is a legal document, that Meghan and Catherine, as the wives of William and Harry, are to wear that jewellery. That jewellery is for them. And obviously that is up to William and Harry, how that jewellery is divided up. So there we go. In terms of the tiara that Catherine often wears, Princess Diana's, rather Queen Mary's Cambridge Lovers Knot tiara, that is on long-term loan from the Queen, because it's actually part of the Queen's collection, to Catherine. Now, the Queen loans out jewellery to all members of the family. Sophie, Camilla, Princess Anne, all the royals at some point have had some jewellery on loan from the Queen. And Meghan is no exception. Meghan had a pair of the Queen's earrings on loan, I think for the day, but then again, it could be long-term loan, I don't know, on their first engagement they had together. Those earrings, I think they were pearl drop earrings, they were from the Queen's collection. So the Queen is already lending jewellery to Meghan. This story is just a complete falsehood. The Queen has some jewellery belonging to the royal collection, and then she has some private jewellery, including the tiaras and lots of brooches and that kind of thing. And the Queen can lend them to whoever she wants. She does lend them to whoever she wants. In fact, actually, Camilla probably has the most on long-term loan, because when the Queen Mother passed away, the Queen inherited all of her jewellery, but the bulk of it actually went to Camilla. The big Boucheron tiara that Camilla wears and lots of other jewels are actually from the Queen Mother's collection. So the Queen kind of almost passed those on straight away to Camilla. So Camilla has probably the most on long-term loan. But as and when the occasion arises, Meghan will undoubtedly probably borrow some really big pieces from the Queen. There was also, a big people trying to drum up some feud business again about the fact that I think when Meghan was on tour, Catherine attended a state banquet where Catherine wore the Lover's Knot tiara, and people were saying, well, Meghan didn't wear a tiara on the same night that Catherine wore a tiara. Well, that's because Catherine was attending a state banquet. That is a tiara occasion. And gone are the days, sadly, where I say sadly because I really, for me, any day is a tiara day. Any occasion is a tiara day. But gone are those days where the royals, you used to, turn up at maybe a premiere of something, or, wearing a tiara. Or gone are the days when they used to take tiaras on tour. In fact, I don't think I have ever seen Catherine, when she's been on an overseas tour, wear a tiara. It just it doesn't happen these days. I wish it would, because I want to see more jewels. I want to see more sparkle. I'm very firmly in the more is more camp. I want to see more jewels, more tiaras, more bling. But that's just me. And I understand that sometimes it's just not appropriate, if you are going to certain countries, to show that kind of wealth. It's not good to perhaps have that wealth on display. Times have moved on, and I'm sure Meghan completely understands. By the way, I don't believe the story also that Prince Charles told Meghan not to wear a tiara. I don't believe that at all. In fact, you know, if anything, Harry would have done it because Harry knows the score. Harry knows what's what. So no, I don't believe any of that whatsoever. Now, have I missed anything out on here? I'm just checking. I've spoken about the will. I've spoken about the Queen lending things on long-term loan to the family. And I've spoken about the unfair comparison. I want to see what you guys are saying about all of this. I'm just going to kind of scroll up a bit. So sorry if I'm backtracking. Hang on. Lots of people saying, yes, of course, it's fake news. Tony Rants says, according to what I have read regarding Diana's jewellery, some was sold and the rest was left to her sons. No, I don't believe any was sold. It was all left to William and Harry. Just Me says, Harry will ask Meghan to wear Diana's jewellery to honour his mother. Yes, I'm sure these pieces will keep on trickling out. Brenda says, if someone gave Meghan and Harry a Persian rug, believe it or not, it would belong to the royal family collection. Yes, any gifts, I do believe, over £100 are actually become part of the royal collection. So they can be used. So someone said yesterday, and I did go away and check, someone said, well, what if Meghan fans crowdfunded for a tiara, for example, for Meghan? Well, yes, it would eventually become part of the royal collection, but Meghan could actually wear it, but it wouldn't necessarily belong to her. It would become part of the royal collection, but she could indeed wear it. So actually, you could crowdfund for a tiara, a Sussex tiara for Meghan if you wanted to, and she could wear it, but obviously it would become part of the royal collection, not a personal piece of property from her. Carmen says, I saw a picture of the Fab Four coming down the stairs and Meghan and Catherine had on crowns. Ooh, where did you see that? Brenda says, Diana's jewellery was not really split between the two boys. They were allowed to pick a few pieces. No, that was initially. Initially, obviously, when it had just happened, they were allowed to pick one piece each. And I think Harry chose Diana's engagement ring, the one that Catherine now has. And I think William chose her Cartier watch. Now, what happened, obviously, when William married Catherine, they did a swap, basically. So they swapped. So Harry got the Cartier watch and William got the ring to give to Catherine, and obviously, which I think was probably the right thing to do, perhaps, at the time. So that's how Catherine ended up with that engagement ring. However, Diana's will states that all of her collection, all of her jewellery, including her what we call junk jewellery, the really cheap pieces that she did wear, were to be split equally when both boys became of age. So obviously, you know, and that they were to be used by their future wives. So there we go. Annette says, definitely double entendre. Jamie is so cute. My question is, which crown jewels can be touched? Harry's, Will's or Charles? Only the Queen can touch the crown jewels. Claire Green says, I think the media wanted to take the attention away from the fact that Meghan is the most educated royal member. The intention was to drive away from how clever Meghan is. That is certainly one way to look at it. PP says, maybe Meghan doesn't wear more jewellery because she doesn't want to. But yes, we already saw her wearing Diana's jewels. Miss Fiji says, Diana left more of jewels to Harry because she knew William's wife. No, they were to be split equally. And yes, I think this story was created on a slow news day. Okay, I'm just skipping through a few. Selk says, they said jewellery belonging to the Queen that Di had worn. It doesn't matter. The Queen can loan any piece of jewellery to anyone, no matter who's previously worn it. And the Queen most certainly has not banned Meghan from this at all. I'm just skipping through a few. Claire Green says, I thought that the ring that Kate wears was in Harry's possession. It was. And then they did a bit of a swap. Kimberly's talking about a royal reporter, which I'm not going to read the name of, but you're calling this royal reporter a snake, and says she doesn't even know who paid for the hotel. She also made fun of the Global Sussex Baby Shower. Well, I don't know who made fun of what. Diana says, I thought she gave her those earrings as a gift. No, they are the Queen's earrings, but she loaned them to Meghan for that day, we believe, although they could be on long-term loan. We probably won't know unless Meghan wears them again. HM the King says, Camilla will also wear the state diadem. She will indeed. And I'm sure it will suit her hair immensely. H.A. Bracken says, that story makes Queen Elizabeth seem petty when you know she would never behave that way. Exactly, we're talking about the Queen. There is no chance she would behave in such a petty way. I agree entirely. Lovely One says, the Queen gave Meghan those rings. I do not believe that they were given. I think they were on long-term loan. But you can kind of, if you want to, you can kind of class long-term loan as giving, because basically it means you don't have to give them back. It's kind of like, I suppose, the Cambridge Lovers Not tiara was on long-term loan to Diana as a wedding present. So, you know, if Diana would have stayed with Charles, you know, indefinitely, then that, you know, would have stayed with Diana indefinitely. So you can, if you want to think of long-term loan as a gift, it kind of is, but the technical ownership is still the Queen. Ooh, I think I've skipped up a few comments, my goodness. Oh no. HN the King says, crowdfunding is a great idea, but I'm sure they can afford to buy one themselves. £10,000 a night room. The Duchy of Cornwall has deep pockets. I think it does indeed. Yes, they can afford their own tiara if they want one. But I think it was more that Meghan's fans wanted to gift her something that they could be proud of. I think that was more the point of it. Jessica says, Elliot, you are absolutely correct. I remember the jewellery discussed years ago, and you are so right on. Exactly. I mean, you've only got to just look. You know, it's a legal requirement. A will is a legal requirement, and it said that the jewellery is to be divided and worn by the wives of William and Harry. And of course, now we know who those wives are. Tonya says, when Catherine first married into the royal family, it took a long time before she was even allowed to wear a tiara, and without matter, even the royal jewellers. Well, she did attend a few occasions privately where she wore one, but at one time she was kind of switching up the scroll tiara, the papyrus tiara, which I've got a copy of. I'm wearing the Spencer one today, by the way, and also the Cambridge Lovers Not tiara. So in most recent times, she's, for any state occasion, she has kind of worn, I think, the Cambridge Lovers Not more. Lots of people saying they'd like to see more tiaras. Margaret says Diana's necklace and earrings, called the Swan Lake set, were auctioned off to pay for death duties. No, because the necklace wasn't actually Diana's. The Swan Lake necklace was intended that she would buy it, but she didn't buy it. So she wore it and she looked absolutely gorgeous in it, but it was not sold off to pay any death duties because it didn't actually belong to Diana. So after Diana's death, obviously that purchase didn't go through. So the original creator of that necklace kept it, and since then it has been auctioned off several times. So you are right, it has been auctioned, but it wasn't auctioned on behalf of William and Harry to pay off any death duties. And there were supposed to be a pair of earrings made to match, but Diana never lived, sadly, to see those completed. Stephanie says, every day is a tiara day. Why have a royal family if they can't be royal for us? I agree. I am old school, and more is more. More is definitely more. I agree with Brenda. I don't think Meghan is worried about wearing a tiara yet. I read Jamie's comment. Sandy Pun says, Australian news are spreading the fake news about Meghan. Katie Nicholl again telling fake news by wanting to sell her biography about Prince Harry. Okay, well, I'm not going to read out the title then. We're not going to give it promotion. Candice says, can you imagine the monetary value of all the jewels dispensed throughout the royal family? Must be in the gazillions. I imagine if you added it all up to market value, it would be an awful lot of money. I agree. I wish they wore the good jewellery more often. In fact, actually, I would probably say I've seen quite a lot of fake news coming out of Australian reports in recent times. No, I didn't see the documentary about royal babies. I will have to catch up on that one. Yes, any royals can set up any trust or endeavour that they want to, as long as there's obviously a reason behind it. Okay, there's also one other thing I wanted to talk about as well. Doria has been spotted. Poor Doria, she's under so much scrutiny. I mean, I'm sure she has people camped outside her door all the time. Like, it's like Doria watch, isn't it? What's Doria doing? So Doria has been still spotted in LA. I think people are watching Doria to see when she comes over to the UK, because that will be obviously an indication, an early indication, that perhaps baby is due soon. So all eyes are on Doria. What is Doria doing? It's like, where is Carmen Sandiego? Where is Doria? Where is Doria? Well, she's in LA. She was last spotted. It is like Doria watch. It's like spotting a rare bird. Doria is in LA, so she's not flown to the UK yet, although I'm sure we'll all hear about it if she is. But Meghan's long-term friend and makeup artist did arrive in the UK. Is this foreshadowing something coming soon? I don't know. Could just be getting here early. I don't know. So we'll have to wait and see on that one. But yes, it is like Doria watch. Everybody, do the Doria watch goggles. Poor Doria. Oh, I do feel for her, really. And yes, Prince Charles has given Meghan some beautiful pieces of jewellery in her own right. HN the King says, Her Majesty is not loaning Meghan the Cullinan third or the fourth brooch, valued at a conservative estimate of $40 million. Her Majesty isn't letting it go. No, and neither would I. I wouldn't loan that one to anybody. Jessica says, thanks for the Doria news. When she makes a move to LA airport, I will plop my lemon elderflower cake in the oven. Please do. Ninova says, I can't see Doria going to the UK this early, so she may make it in time, or she may get here after the baby's born. I think she'd want to be here for birth. So obviously Meghan will have been given a date. So I imagine we'll see some movement with Doria probably just ahead of that date. So it will kind of foreshadow things to come. So keep your eyes on Doria. Poor Doria. My goodness. Alegna says, if I was Doria, I'd have to walk around with a bag on my head just so people couldn't see. With the words, I'm not Doria written on. Alegna says, we're on the floor laughing. Do the Doria watch. Do the Doria. It's a new dance. Do the Doria. Do the Doria. HN the King says, does Doria use the Queen's flight? I don't think so. Not yet. Margaret says, do you know whether or not Meghan and Harry have actually moved into Frogmore Cottage? We do believe so. Of course, that's the sort of thing that will not be confirmed actually by the palace. But I do believe they have. Although we don't know in terms of, is it actually finished? I mean, people do move into something, you know, technically, maybe if it's not quite finished, you know, there could be some rooms that are just ready. So, yes, as far as I'm aware, they are in. Brenda says, the more the public starts making a tiara for Meghan a big deal, the room is going to keep flying. The rumours are going to keep flying that we need to let that story drop. Possibly. Yes, forget where's Wally. Where's Doria? People are definitely laughing at the Doria thing. Um, let's just go up a little tiny bit. I think I've missed a few. MSNB 2012 says, I'm so fond of Doria. She's a very classy and likeable person. She is too. Donna Solar says, is it the English thing to throw the word divorce in every vlog? Sick of it. Well, some people are obsessed with divorce. But I wouldn't quite say it's an English thing. Glenda says, oh yes, because in America, isn't it Waldo? It's not Where's Wally, it's Where's Waldo. Glenda says, it seems like Kate and William had registered at the hospital sooner than Meghan and Harry. Like to know what hospital. Well, again, we don't think the Lindo Wing because they haven't put in an application for restricted parking. So it's looking less and less like the Lindo Wing, and seeing as they're in Frogmore, it could possibly be a Windsor berth now. Okay, I am going to go now. So thank you for watching this little update. And I do apologise that this week has been so Harry and Meghan heavy. It's just those have been the little odds and ends stories that have been out there and that I felt like needed discussing. But hopefully that will leave a lot more room for the talk of other royals in my Saturday live chat. So, how many is watching? 445. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a big old thumbs up. Please head over to my other channel, Elliot's British Life. The link is in the description, and help me get to 1,000 subscribers because I really need to. Then I can have access to all the different facilities like the community page and all that kind of thing, which YouTube only give you if you get to 1,000 subscribers. So please head over there. Help me reach that target. I'm only literally about 100 away from that, so please do. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. By the way, I am working on new content for my other channel, so stay tuned. I have a few things up my sleeve. Hit the notification bell so that you know whenever I upload a new video. So from me, for now,